Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve Ramona and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I'm so fired up to have you join us today. We've dedicated the podcast exploring the idea of doing work and living life with a purpose. And that purpose is, doing business using your servant's heart, giving every day, serving every day, or every chance you get. We know when you do that, your life will change. I know my life's changed, and my guest is going to talk about that today as well. Excuse me. Service. We just got out of Christmas. We're giving gifts. Why not do that every day? We also dedicated this podcast that our guests will inspire you, motivate you, and educate you on whatever subject, whatever we talk about, but something you can take away and make a difference in your life. Because the gift of a podcast is what my guest is going to say today. And when you share it with others and change their life, that's a servant's heart. Today's episode is sponsored by Pantheon Alliance. Join a community of high-income entrepreneurs and business leaders who have created a world-changing thought leader platform to help you grow your business or yourself. So for more information on Pantheon, just reach out to me and I'll get you all the information. And on a side note, your call to action after the show today is go out and serve. Do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait for a week. Just go out and serve and try to do that daily. Reach out to me if you have any questions or comments about how you're serving. I'd love to hear that. Excuse me. With that being said, I want to welcome my guest today. Baz, welcome to the show.
Steve, you're absolutely amazing, and service is what you're all about, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you today.
On a quick side note, I every time I see your name, I think of a singer. I'm actually going to go see the Bob Dylan movie tonight. I'm excited to see that. I know a lot about, I'm not a big music guy, but Bob Dylan, I could see you playing the guitar, singing a song. With that being said, I want to jump on because when we first met, the two words that really struck me with you is high performance. Explain that. Why is that so important?
I think in today's world, it's a misconception because high performance doesn't mean an outward thing. It's an internal meter where it becomes a standard for where you are personally. This high performance is a buzzword saying you've got an outward success. Yes, that's partly true, but in order to obtain the outward success, you must have an internal clock first. So high performance for me personally is a self-set standard and then raising the bar every single day, even if it's just 2 millimeters. That's my version of that.
That's great. How do people achieve that? What's some of the tips you can give?
So discipline is the first one, and discipline comes in a multifaceted combination. But even getting up in the morning at a certain time, making your bed, having a text message or a gratitude routine in the morning. And it was about service, not just to yourself, but also serving others. So what I try and do every morning is text people just a little voice note, just 2 people. Hi, haven't heard from you. Just want to say I love you. I'm grateful for you. And if you need anything, I'm here. Especially in sort of this holiday period of time where there's a lot of people struggling. There's a lot of people who are lonely. And some of these people don't like to reach out. They're proud. They are very closed off, and they just want to hear a voice. So that could, in that act in itself, discipline and gratitude is changing someone's life. And it doesn't take much for a quick voice message to somebody. And I say voice message, not text message, because it's more personal. Don't just send a text message to somebody. send a voice message saying, "Hi, I love you. I'm grateful. Can I help?"
Such a powerful message for, like you said, the time, like I mentioned, we're a day after Christmas. Just the voice of Merry Christmas to you and your families instead of typing it is such a little thing, not so hard to do, but has a huge impact, right?
Yeah, yeah, it does. I mean, I get messages all the time from people, but I would respond more to a voice message than I would a normal text message because it's more in the day and age of technology, AI, etc., that's all great, but we're missing, I think, that human connection with each other. So
Yeah.
that voice can change someone's life. And I've been, quick story from years and years ago, I was DJing in a bar in the UK, and someone came up to me in the bar. I didn't even know them. Said, "Are you're Baz?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just work. Yeah, I am." He goes, "You saved my life tonight." And well, how I did that was just a simple post on Instagram, and it was an inspirational post of me saying something, a video, because the reels had just come out at the time, and literally they were brand new, so they were being pushed everywhere, just from the algorithm and how it works. He just came up to me, "You saved my life. The inspirational message you said to me today, and that he showed me, that stopped me from killing myself." So you never know the impact that you're having just with a voice message. And that was just proof for me years and years ago.
And audience, if you're watching on YouTube or even hearing his voice on my podcast, his body language changed when he told that story. And I've had that, not suicide, but other things. This is the ROI, and we're in business podcast, kind of, doing business with the servant's heart. But that's the ROI for us, because I hear it all the time, Baz. What do I get when I serve?
Yeah. People
What's
are expecting a materialistic
yeah.
ROI a lot of the time. And yes, that is a component. There's always an energy exchange. But for me personally, the reason I do any of this is I want to change someone's life. I've been broke, I've been rich, I've been in between, and I know where I'm happiest. And it isn't about the materialistic. It's about seeing someone else smile. It's about seeing them light up in their world. And I've been a part of that, not necessarily been the cause of it, but I've been a part of it. I've been a part of that journey. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah. And I love that your component of high performance, and we just talked about before the show, how I love Christmas and New Year's Day. It lets me shut down. And I need to shut down. You said a great comment, well, you need to work. And I am. That's one of my goals for next year, is going out and doing that. But the flip side of high performing is burnout. I'm high performing, I'm serving. Talk about burnout, because that could be a little scary.
This is actually my wheelhouse because as high performers, we've all experienced burnout. It comes in many different forms. It can start with not sleeping. It can start with anxiety, mild depression, and depression is just not having an alignment with your true self. Depression is the restriction from expression. That's basically what depression is. The chemical reaction is when the brain happens, but all of these are smaller symptoms to a bigger problem. That the end result is chronic fatigue, it is overwhelm and anxiety, and it all commonly comes under that umbrella of burnout. High performing athletes have this, high performance executives, C-suite, entrepreneurs that are at a certain level because they're not delegating, and that causes it because it has a knock-on effect. But the symptoms are massive. Anger, there's a long list of them. So when someone says it's burnout, especially, there's a lot of inexperienced coaches out there saying it's burnout, but they don't know the symptoms behind it, and also the massive effect, not just mentally and physically, but also emotionally and spiritually or energetically. There's so much behind burnout and that singular word that people are not aware of, but the symptoms are massive. Anger, there's literally lists as long as my arm that call all the symptoms for it before you get to the burnout. Most of it can be stopped just with the knowledge and redirection and the right guidance, whether that be a mentor, coach, therapist, whatever your source is. But it has to be the right one for you, not generic. It's got to be that.
Yeah, that's powerful. And the funny thing is, well, it's probably the wrong word. The solution is not money.
No, it isn't. I mean, I chased fame and ego, didn't work. I lost everything, not just once, multiple times, because I was chasing the wrong things. And to your point, Steve, with the burnout, that's where I went. And I was angry. And I wasn't angry at the world. I was actually angry at myself because I was angry at, I knew it, but I wasn't strong enough or confident enough to admit what was really going on. So I took that out on everybody else, you know, people that were coming across me. And it doesn't just necessarily show up in your the way you speak to people. It's the energy you have. And it's that component people feel rather than they just know. They don't know what it is. They go, oh, actually, I'll just move away from you. And you're not aligned with them.
Yeah.
And it comes from burnout. It comes from anger. There's lots of causes for it, but that's high performance habit.
You said something very important, audience. Listen to this. You were self-aware that you had burnout, but you didn't take the actions because that's the bridge to self-awareness, correct? Talk about that. You've talked about that before.
So the self-awareness is where it starts, admitting to what the uncomfortable within you, admitting you have a problem. It's like going to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting and you're not saying you're an alcoholic. You've got to admit you have a problem. And the ego and the self-awareness part of us is always preventing us from doing it because of shame for other people, shame of being ridiculed, shame of being told you can't do something, you're not good enough, not loved. All of the fears that we have, that's where that comes up, and the ego plays a part in it. For me personally, I didn't want to admit to anybody, including my ex-wife, that I was in the wrong, because I knew what I was doing at the time was right, but it wasn't. It was far from right. I was heading down a pathway that I subconsciously and at a very lower level knew, but I couldn't even admit it to myself to even bring myself into a reality of going, actually, I need some help. And what I help people do now is literally understand the symptoms, but because I've been through it myself several times, I also can go, I understand that bit. I empathize with whether you are, but what about this, this, and this? I didn't have that person in my life at the time that I would listen to. There was that person, but I wouldn't listen to them. And there were several signs that was going on. People were trying to tell me. People were leaving. My clients, things were going wrong, all of the above. And I wasn't listening to myself, let alone anybody else, because I knew better. If you're saying that to yourself now, we love you, but you don't.
It's a great phrase because we do love you, but being able to say that, hey, I'm wrong. And I love saying that, hearing that and saying that. I'm saying it more last year. I have my life and my goal, listening to great people like you teaching me this. That's why it's great to be a host. As you know, we get to educate ourselves as well. Let's jump in. So high performance also has purpose or their why, or, not dream. Could be, oh, it's dream. Well, dream's a little different than purpose. Talk about that, how you incorporate that in your coaching.
So a lot of things come back to what you're really passionate about. Some people are passionate about music. You're going to see Bob Dylan later on tonight, but that's your passion. Some people try and distinguish their passion and they try and monetize that. But your purpose is what's driving that. It's why you truly get up in the morning. Most people don't actually know why they get up. They just automate things. Oh, I need to get up because I need to go and earn money. But what if you actually had the exact reason why you're getting up in the morning? The absolute minutest aspect of that. I get up in the morning to change other people and their lives because I know the other side of that is homelessness,
Yeah.
addiction, in drugs, alcohol. It is fatigue. It is unworthiness. It is all of this stuff that we hear about. And you walk down, I don't know, LA Skid Row, because that is the other side of what I do. And I've been there. That's my why. But that's my purpose. That's why I do it. The way I do it's different. But the purpose is the thing that drives you. And there's certain ways you can get down to the nitty gritty of it, understanding your values, your belief system, what your rules are in your life, what aligns you with the bigger vision. The bigger vision and impact comes from the purpose, and then you get into the philanthropy and why and the aspects of how. But for me, purpose is the actual core why, the thing that is driving you every moment of every single day. For you, Steve, it's serving others. But there's a minute fragment of that is much deeper, and you know what that is now to explain that. But if you understand that, that's your purpose. That's the driven impact within inside you of why you get up in the morning. Not I want to earn some money or I want to be famous and drive a nice car down Santa Monica Avenue. That's just a byproduct of what you're doing.
Yeah. But I heard this, and if one of my guests said this, and it fits exactly what you're saying. I'm passionate about food. I love food. I'm not very event, but I love to eat. I love different food. My wife really loves to try foods and passionate, but I'm not passionate about being a chef. It's exactly what you're saying. It's a good image for audience you to see what Baz is saying. I mean, I was a chef at one time. I would never do it. It is hell. But I would still eat food. I would still be passionate about food. And I love that. That's a core thing that you come in and help with, right? To find that for me or whoever you're working with, right?
Yeah. I mean, people think that it's it's just about a superficial thing. But for instance, for you, Steve, what about the food did you like? There's always there's always another level. There's always another layer. It could be a certain type of food. It could be Italian, could be Asian food. And is it the experience of cooking? Is it the experience of handling it? Everybody has their own thing. And the deeper we look, and someone once said, the better questions you ask yourself, the better answers you get, which is true. But also the better questions you ask yourself and the authentic questions, the better outcomes you get. Because it's not just about what you're gonna achieve and know. The better questions you ask, the better outcomes, and also the better products you're going to bring. And products doesn't mean you're going to sell something. Products is the way you show up. You are a product of your own work. You're a product of getting up in the morning, driven purpose. All of it is understanding why you're doing it at a very base level, foundational core level. You get that, and then you understand the rest of it, and the components start to fit. You'll never ever work a day in your life because that is the driving force of why you do something, and the energy from that literally exudes from your body, and people just you entered my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, other people just do the same because we are at that alignment within ourselves that we can have these conversations in confidence, in our own knowing of this is why we do it.
I'm going to add, you're coaching me right now, and I wouldn't do this because I've got other projects, but when you said, what is it about food? The first, and if you were coaching me, I know that's what you asked. I'd go, I love people sitting around eating because it's joyful. People communicate. It's an event.
Yeah.
And it went right to, maybe I should be doing events. Maybe I need to be putting on food. What a great coach. He coached me within 5 minutes to realize what maybe I could do down the road that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about food for this. I'm not passionate to cook it.
No.
Like you said.
But you are a people gatherer because people flock to you.
Yeah.
So that could be one of, and this is going in a much deeper level, but this is going into the superpowers of what you facilitate just with who you are. So you're not working at something, you're passionate, and now what you've done is connect the dots. Oh, I've just had an epiphany. 6 months' time, let's do a massive event. Well, how does that going to happen? Then you start planning.
Yeah. Audience, we just went through what it's much more than what we're doing now, but what you just did is what a coach should do, or advisor, consult, whatever you call. Make me realize myself. You don't tell me, you don't direct me, you just ask the right questions like you did. It's brilliant. Well, we're coming to the end here. I'm going to bring you back because there's much more we can talk about. People listening going, hey, high performance sounds good, Baz, but where do I start?
Start with yourself. Start by making a commitment now. Not necessarily book a call, but make a commitment to yourself. Say, I want X to achieve Z in a time frame. And if you think that's achievable on your own, good luck. My advice, seek out somebody who actually knows what they're doing and also has done it themselves. Don't ask somebody that hasn't done it. And I love coaches. We all come in at certain levels. My own experience, and I've been burnt a lot. Don't go with somebody that has just come out of a coaching academy or just got a degree in something. Get someone with real life experience, because they make the difference between make or break, and they won't rip you off. They're coming from experience, not an essay or a degree. There's nothing wrong with that and the accolades, but they don't replace experience ever.
Yeah. You don't go to school and you spend a week homeless. That's not a class. You've dealt with that. You experienced. That's why I really enjoyed meeting you, and we're growing together and learning together. Well, let's end with a little fun, because it was a great show. This is so good. Just tidbits people could really grow with, which is what I agree. Tell people all the time. There's little tidbits, grow, like you said, get better every day to be high performance. So let's do this improv. So I've got a reservation at a restaurant, speaking of food, table of 4. You've got one in the seats. On the 3 empty seats, or in the 3 empty seats, who would you invite, dead or alive? Why would you invite them? And what food would you order?
Well, I personally love Asian food, and I really like the cultures of that. So I would actually love to interview and be next to Gandhi is one of them, just for his wisdom. And I would probably go for Abraham Lincoln because his views. And somebody who was, I can't remember the name, probably a singer, Bono, for his entertainment experience, because I want culture. I don't want politics. I want someone who's lived and to explore deeper levels of knowledge. So Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, and Bono would be my go-to for have a meal with anybody.
And it's interesting, those are 3 people that are around people. Abraham Lincoln was around people, Gandhi obviously was, and Bono with music, meeting thousands as he's singing. Because to me, I think song is communication. I'm not a big music guy, but I know you listen to a song. I can listen to a song today and go, I remember that girlfriend I had at high school. You know, we all had that. So I love that table. Baz, thank you so much. You are a blessing. How can people find you and support you?
Rams by Baz /executive coaching is if you want to get hold of me, drop me a line. I'm going to give some free gifts on the back end of this, so they'll be there as well. I'm more than happy to have a conversation and just see if I can support you, maybe even come on a podcast or whatever I can do. This is what I'm here for. Steve, you're awesome, and I really want to thank you for your time, your love, and your energy, and your service to others. Thank you for
God bless.
allowing me to have a
Oh,
conversation.
you're so welcome. And audience, my call to action, as you know, I'm going to keep reminding you, here's the power of podcast. It's the gift of that link. You take that YouTube, it's probably out tomorrow, if not today. If you listen to the show and go, oh, my friend needs to hear Baz, my cousin needs to hear, whoever that may be, take the link and share that gift, because they listen to this 10 or 15 minutes of Baz and go, I need to reach out. And Baz helps them, supports them, helps them grow. You just given a gift of life almost. I know it's a little people, life you have, because what he tell you this story, he was just a DJ inspiring people through Instagram. Somebody's here, was there today, did not die by suicide because of inspiration. That's what a podcast to do. Hey, if it's not, I understand, but use that call to action, get that link out to people and share it. So subscribe to the YouTube channel so it's easier to find. And 2, comment on the YouTube channel on the show. If it's for me, critique, I'd like to help the show grow even more. It's for Baz. I'll make sure he gets those comments. And with that being said, me and Baz want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.